Welcome at last to HeroQuest fans. We're getting started a little bit late on a Friday, and I blame it all on the fact that we had a huge news dump about Against the Ogre Horde from the Cannes Games Festival in France. But nevertheless, I'm glad you're here. I see you guys have been waiting for a while. Sorry about that. I see Glasgow. Glasgow Gargoyle. Welcome, sir.
How you doing, my man? All right?
Oh, doing well. Thank you. Good to have you. So I suppose we're still going to get started late, and don't worry, we can always extend the time just so that you get your money's worth. But um, what do you think about all the news coming out about Against the Ogre Horde? What's your reaction?
Yeah, I'm dead excited. Feelings of nostalgia.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, because as a kid who grew up in the U.S., I didn't even know about this pack until probably like the early 2000s. So I didn't have the same exposure to it that you did, and I know we've talked a little bit already. So I don't know if so you're not staying spoiler free. You're diving into the info.
Yeah, I'm just diving in because I can't wait. So I'm just checking out Discord and seeing what's come out, watching videos, everything I can. So yeah, I'm delighted to see the updates yesterday and today.
Very cool, man. And so far, my reaction's been very positive as well. I've played a few of the quests in the past. I was using Phoenix's revised rules, so he tried to convert it to the North American rules somewhat successfully. But I see even there, they didn't just copy him, they came up with their own idea. What do you think about some of the specific changes? I'm just going to ask you as a veteran of this expansion. Um, what did you think about the cards instead of the spell tokens?
Personally, I would have liked just a single card for each spell, and I think we're all grown up enough to keep track of how many times a spell is used. So I'd be quite happy with just a single card, part of the Chaos deck, the Chaos spell deck or the Dread spell deck in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the tokens as a kid, and yeah, they were good for the board game at that point. But I wasn't too fussed about the tokens. But I think the multiple cards are a little bit superfluous. I think the card spaces could have been better spent on giving us, topping up that alchemy deck, giving us more treasure, more equipment. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. I mean, the physical assets in HeroQuest, as we know, especially those of us who have played pencil and paper RPGs, we know that it's all to give you that tactile visual connection, which is especially good if you're not familiar with the genre or you're younger. But it's just cool. So instead of using your imagination or yeah, just putting a hatch mark on a piece of paper, you're like, oh, I got this token at my spot showing how many times I got the spell or whatever. Or yeah, you're flipping a card. I mean, the cards take up more room. You've already got so many cards to manage. Having maybe a different type of token or something like that is maybe a little easier to keep track of. I was gonna say, yeah, we're all grown up enough, except when your old pal Uncle Zargon's really tired and it's late at night, which is part of the reason why I adjusted these streams. Because man, that last hour, I just have trouble. And I mean, I'm not even an old geezer at this point, but still. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess everybody's got their preferences, but something to keep track of it visually. But I'm with you in the sense that yeah, if they're gonna decide arbitrarily, here's the limit for the number of cards we can fit into this box, and we're gonna use it with like duplicates of the same card. I mean, I'd rather have something unique. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm really happy with what I see, but we do have high expectations as fans
Yeah.
of this amazing game. So, and that's okay. That's a good thing.
It is.
But so don't get me wrong. I'm in no way disappointed. I'm really happy with what I see. But there's always room for improvement, and everyone will have different ideas about what that means.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. And I can't help but think of, I sent complimentary messages to both Avalon Bill and Carmine because obviously they were there when this was being put together and probably had an influence on it as well. So this is their work, even though, they're not around to see it in the same way. Of course, Doug Hopkins, I assume, had a lot of input because he's kind of like the rule mechanics quest guy. So we still don't know what these 3 new quests are going to be. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know a lot of people have speculated maybe they're solo quests or something for the druid, but they could be anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wonder. My pet theory just now is that the 3 quests, the additional 3 quests, might come at the start of the campaign, and they might be centered around the premise of entering this tournament somehow. So I kind of wonder if maybe we start with the arena or something along those lines, and then the kind of plot unravels after that. I also have a theory, totally unfounded theory, but I have a theory that maybe we don't actually aim to kill the Ogre Lord. Maybe we have to get him down to below 5 body points or something, and something has to be done to, I don't know, make him kind of come back and get and save the clan, as it were. Because I know there was something about kind of rescuing the ogres from their control.
Yeah, and I suppose I can already anticipate the objections. It's like, why can't we have this pure black and white, good versus evil? Like, they're monsters. Of course you got to kill them. It's either them or us, kind of thing. But then I was thinking, I had those same misgivings. Ah, Verg, thank you. Yeah, thanks for your support, guys. Yeah, we've surpassed our goal on a lot of things. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I was thinking back to the misgivings a lot of us had to Spirit Queen's Torment, where it's like, okay, the orcs are going to be good guys now, and they're misunderstood. They're just poor saps that don't deserve all the punishment they get and everything. And we're like, oh, come on, they're still the bad guys, right? But in actual execution, I don't know how other people thought, but I was like, most of the orcs that you fight are still bad guys, and they're still the goons that you love to hate, and it's still fine. I mean, you got a couple good orcs, and but the good orcs aren't the ones you're focused on. They're out there, or maybe they're a single ally you got to rescue in one particular quest. But for the most part, they're still the bad guys. So if they introduce the concept of the good ogre or the not so bad ogre or the ogre that you can save, maybe that's not so bad. I mean, it could be done, handled well, without taking away that feeling we had playing the original game. We've got the orc bard, for crying out loud. Maybe an ogre mercenary or two couldn't be so bad. And then I was thinking, without getting too spoilerific, there is, let's say, a different way to win in Spirit Queen's Torment. You don't necessarily have to kill a certain character. You can also kind of like ease their suffering, so to speak. So it might be something like that, or who knows. I came up with some kind of comical scenarios in the Discord chat, but I don't know. What's your thought about the idea of? I mean, you're saying the Ogre Lord, but yeah, if he can change the path of the ogre clans, maybe the other ones won't join Zargon, so to speak. Or I don't know. I'm all over the place, but what do you think? You like the idea, or are you kind of just living with it?
Yeah, I mean, things were so much simpler when I was a kid. The ogres were the bad guys, and that was it. You didn't think too hard about it.
Yeah.
However, I recall even as a kid, there was a little bit of a grey area over the allegiance of the ogres. I do remember that, but it wasn't an issue. We the heroes had to go in and take them out. but I guess it's just the world we live in as well today. We have to. We're a lot more open-minded. So,
Well,
and
some of us,
so
but
I guess the idea is an interesting idea.
yeah, the
I don't I
shade,
don't I don't know. I haven't quite decided.
yeah, the shades of gray, and see, I guess for me, I am totally okay with them introducing like a shades of gray kind of, I don't know, grittier, more ambiguous, morally speaking type of quest pack when it's a new creation. Like, I'm totally fine with them throwing the rules up in the air and, introducing all kinds of new stuff like in something like Rise of the Dread Moon. But maybe I don't go with the same degree that like someone like Amalgamash would, insisting on the purity of essence of every single one. But when it comes to a classic, I'd be more like these should be optional, these should be side quests, these should be, so maybe it's a choice. Maybe you can negotiate with the guy or you can just straight up fight him, and that would be fine. But if they just like change it fundamentally to say, oh well, the original quest pack was you fighting a bunch of big dumb monsters. Now we're gonna totally change that. I don't know if I like that idea. I kind of feel like do the experimentation somewhere else. Don't do it in the classic ones. Is kind of what I'm thinking. But maybe it won't.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll be easy to just kind of like if you don't want that, you can just step right over it and keep on playing, and it's not going to break anything.
yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that point of view. It's obviously there's now that we're looking back on it. The ogres had always been a little bit kind of mercenary, and
Yeah,
they had no allegiance to chaos or the empire, but were in some way duped into working for Morcar, and so in a sense were also victims. but but yeah, it was simpler when they were just enemies to be defeated.
yeah, yeah. And it's Verg is making some good comments there too. I see. I certainly understand and appreciate the fact that HeroQuest does have commonalities, connections, roots, inspirations from Warhammer Fantasy. Even though officially that's not being acknowledged, at the same time, those connections are kind of still there. It's kind of still warm from the closeness that was once there.
Well,
So,
yeah, it's
uh,
not.
I hear
I'm sure.
Bohemia. Yeah. Well, but I mean, like even the Dread Moon itself has a corollary in Warhammer Fantasy. I'm like,
No,
what?
but
Hey,
you can see the connection. Is strong. Okay, just the fact that they put an elfing in the box with the ogre. Okay, is extremely connected to the story of World of Warcraft because historically they come from the same regions.
wait, World of Warcraft or Warhammer?
Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, Warhammer.
Oh, because I was
I
gonna
just
say you definitely see the World of Warcraft influence in the artwork.
my bad. No, I meant Warhammer.
Okay.
Okay, if you go check the story of the Althing and the ogres in the original Warhammer, they come from the same regions.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Well, yeah, and I don't mind that at all. I think the fact that when you play games, sometimes the game doesn't have to be completely original. It can just remind you of other things that you like, and because it's giving you a chance to participate in that world, even though it's kind of like a one-off from it. So when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, it's not an official Lord of the Rings product, but it kind of makes you feel like, oh yeah, this is like what happened in Lord of the Rings, except I'm in the action now, and this other company gets to profit from it. So HeroQuest can do that for, yeah, you're not playing Warhammer, but you're maybe playing some of the same things, or World of Warcraft, or Pathfinder, or whatever it might be. Um, Absolutely, Verg. I agree with you that in the original description of the ogres in the first version, because we haven't seen inside the new quest book yet. For all we know, it's pretty much the same. Maybe they haven't changed much of anything except for the new sections. But yeah, the idea that the ogres are not like, I don't know if you call them chaotically evil if it was Dungeons and Dragons, but um, they are more like based on their appetites. You know, they like violence, they like food. So they're almost like an exaggeration of what the stereotype of orcs are. You know, they're kind of just dumb guys that like to fight and raid and destroy things. And maybe you get a powerful wizard who can kind of like overshadow them and manipulate them. And yeah, in a way, they are kind of tragic because they didn't necessarily pick these fights, you know, to be like cannon fodder. But at the same time, there's a good number of them that really enjoy it. They like burning down villages and, you know, munching on peasants. So they're not totally innocent. but yeah, you know, it's it's not that far of a departure from what we already know. So that I agree with you on, and that I appreciate the fact that they are not completely rewriting it. So even if we hear, hey, you're going to save the ogres from themselves, that doesn't sound so bad. I mean, maybe some of them won't want to be saved and got to be put down. That's just kind of how it goes. The tragedy of the story. And you can spin that out how you want at your table. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing, but it could be if you wanted. But yeah, he says the original game describes...
Well, there might
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
there might be thousands. There might be thousands of ogres in the clan. So if we're taking out a few dozen, then that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you're going to Chicago. You're not massacring all the people that live in Chicago. You're just taking out the mobsters that are running the city. Maybe that's all it is. You know, it might be a few dozen guys, but once they're out of the way, maybe you know, you see that there's some decent folk there. You know, because
Yeah, and it's got to be said, those miniatures, those chunky ogre miniatures are awesome looking.
They are. I agree. I'm not sure about the color, but I guess it sort of suggests kind of a sandy or kind of pale look to them, maybe to match the sandy desert look of the arena. I'm having flashbacks to Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Let me acknowledge, though, these things that Verg is writing here. So he says the original game describes the ogres as a neutral faction. So my comment on Discord that the heroes are a bit of murder hobos is that they destroy the source of the evil controlling the ogres and then turn around and still kill their ogre lord and ogres. It's not a shade of gray. The ogres were originally stated as mercs who would work equally for both the Empire and the Force of Chaos. They're not good or evil by the original definition. I think saving the ogres is just a retcon to make it so that the heroes aren't complete murder hobos. Oh, and then Jacer chimed in, and he got censored.
Where is written the heroes must save the ogres in the box? I don't remember.
I forget if it was on the box or if it was in one of the descriptions.
Top of the box, or
yeah, but
was
I would read it in the most broad sense because I feel like HeroQuest is not that deep. I mean, they drop all kinds of hints, but Rise of the Dread Moon, most of the questions we have are not answered. Like, they are not flat out not answered. And I don't want to say more because I'll spoil it, but that to me is, and they even confirmed this at Gen Con when I had conversations, you know, separately with different members of the Avalon Hill team, is like they want you to spin the story in your own direction. They want you to make up the reasons. Like, well, they never told us why this happened. Well, let's just make up a reason, you know. But if you just play the game as is, you're going to be like, they forgot to explain all this stuff. There's all these plot holes. Jacer says, yes, you kill the whole horde. Maybe it's just a mercenary camp not sent to slaughter the women and the children. Well, see, I would take it as that.
It could be a take of their retail website. Okay, like paraphrasing the story. So
yeah,
anyway,
well,
they want to save the ogres, but actually, what they want to do is take away the control of Zargon on the ogres.
Yeah.
Probably. So to save themselves.
Yeah.
More
so
than save the ogres.
we could just imagine, I don't know how many ogres there are in the world of HeroQuest. Maybe there's millions of them. And you fight a few dozen of these guys who are maybe like the beginning, like maybe Zargon or Morkar sends Festral, his sorcerer, to start corrupting them, and maybe this is the corrupted group. But if you stop them, then the corruption won't spread and the rest of the ogres won't join. Or maybe it's these guys don't even want to be in the fight, and it's just the they're conscripted by this particular leader. I was kind of, maybe I'm making too much of it, thinking about the difference between the ogre king and the ogre lord. Maybe there is no difference, but I was thinking, well, maybe there was an ogre king who was like just a fine ruler.
Oh,
Maybe there's a usurper who comes in like, hey, I'm going to give you this magic. You can take over. You can join us.
yeah.
It could be some plot like that. And if you get rid of that guy,
Hmm.
the real king comes in. Hey, I didn't want a war. you know.
Or the crown is a gift from Zargon. So
He's going to
he
organize
wanted
them.
as a future king of the ogre.
Yeah, I'll
I
give
don't
you
know.
this
Still
power.
speculating, of course. I don't know anything.
Yeah, yeah, or maybe it's just not explained, and it's just like, oh yeah, you've saved, not necessarily saved the realm from the ogres. It's like you've saved the ogres from this corruption that was happening.
Yeah, because
Are we going to have to?
in the original.
Are we going to have to throw? Are we going to have to throw the crown into the pit of doom, the pit of dread?
Maybe
Who knows?
the crown of shadows from
Maybe.
Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. They're going to bring that card back in. I don't know.
Yeah,
No, it's not in there.
maybe changes stuff. But in the original story,
Yeah.
anyway, I lost the
Okay. So
what I want to say.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over you guys, but Verg and Jacer both were saying, yeah, it's the website, it's the promo text. Because some of that stuff is not always accurate. Like the whole thing about the metal armor with the monk turned out to be, they just changed it. He says, oh, this is Verg again. Waiting for Pulse's site to show what they say, these were also translations, so they're not 100% on it. Yeah, we know there have been problems with translations in the past. 100% they want to take control away from Zargon of the ogres. But my point is, after you destroy the source of control, you continue to kill the ogres and their leader, so it's at odds to read on the retailers' websites they were going to save them instead of go destroy the ogre horde. Why would you throw the crown in? The ring is what you want to throw in to destroy the control. Well, I have a quick take on this. What if you take away the magical control and you're like, congratulations, ogres, you are free. Now you will not attack the realm as Zargon was forcing you to do so. And the ogre lord is like, what are you talking about? I was going to do it anyway. I like destroying the realm. It's like, oh crap, So then you still have to fight him, maybe, or maybe it's one of those choose your own adventure things. Maybe you do it one way and he survives, and the other way, it's too bad, but you got to kill him. The control was not taken. Maybe they escape with the ring somehow, and it doesn't. I don't know. Could be lots of things.
Yeah, now I remember what I want to say. In the original story, is an isolated tribe of ogres.
Yep.
He's not talking about all the ogres. So
not saying all, not all.
Exactly.
Yep.
This one.
So if you want to imagine, there's
it's
good ogres
everything.
out there. Yeah.
Everything could be connected anyway. Also, later in the jungle of Deltrak, I think they're creating really a mini puzzle to build with the narrative, with the lore. It's weird they didn't release yet a real map.
Yeah, plot twist galore. Well, yeah, I mean, it could be so. There's so many possibilities, and I just kind of have a feeling that we are probably going to face a lot of loose ends by design. But if they suggest a few things and then just kind of leave it at that, and then we kind of go for it, because people are going to demand to know. But they may just say, we didn't write any more, so it's up to you to figure it out.
Yes, but more you expand the game, and more you need to give sense. It cannot be.
Yeah,
you need a map for that reason, in my opinion, because you need I'm sure they have a map that maybe is not complete. That is the reason why they didn't release it. But they need to give Cardinal information, okay, directions. So in a way, they're giving us this little information, little by little, to build the map that they already
have. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and when I talked briefly with Carmine, of course, he couldn't reveal it, and he had to admit, hey, this all could have changed because he's not in there anymore, is that the world map that we see, that's just a tiny portion of what they came up with. But on the other hand, I think it's kind of like, actors when they go in to play a role, they write a backstory for the hero or the character, the protagonist or the villain, but we don't necessarily see that happen on screen. That's just, oh, that's the motivation that we imagine he has, and hopefully it comes out in the performance. So maybe we're never meant to see all that stuff, but yeah, there is a sense where you're like, but where did all these monsters come from? And if we took over this area, how come they're still here? I mean, are they going to release another quest pack where they're like, in this one, we're going to assume you failed the last one, and the ogres are still out there, and you still got to fight them? Like, oh man, or are they just gonna? It's going to be so unconnected that you could play it in any order, it wouldn't matter. Verg says there's no telling yet. We haven't seen the prologue based on the map in Path of the Wandering Monk. I'd say no, as the events leading to the tournament already have taken place and before the tournament. Well, maybe. I mean, you've got the poster and you've got the map, but it's like, is the monk the one who's like writing? He's like smearing blood on the map to show like where he's been, or did he get this map from someone else? Is it meant to be literal, like an actual in-world object that's describing something that took place, or is it just to tell us, the audience, like what's happening? No direction is given. It's just kind of like, you imagine it's, yeah, like he found a flyer somewhere that said, hey, there's this big tournament, come get some gold. And he's like, great, but who, drew all the stuff? Where are those locations? Is it just a trigger for the imagination, or is it actually a clue to what they're going to do story-wise in the next one? That's what we're all wondering. Chaser says, does it still take place before Mage of the Mirror? I don't remember. Do you guys remember? Or they haven't clarified yet.
What? Against the Ogre Horde?
Yeah, in the official quest order.
Should be before Mage of the Mirror.
Hey, Elviler.
So
maybe before.
I'm correct.
Elviler said, yeah, well, Elviler's here. He's the one who posted, has been keeping up with that. So he says, I'm guessing the timeline is going to change.
I think there are, yes, events they require a chronological order, but doesn't mean that you need to play it. Okay.
Yeah.
In the chronological order, exactly, because they are going to be incompletely, unless we're talking about Rise of the Dread Moon days. Stated days after the event.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's in the same area. Okay, of the map, covering the same monsters. Let's say. Okay.
Yeah.
The other expansion are going to cover other monsters, so other part of the map, other events happening somewhere else, not connected.
Avalon Bill.
Connecting the story, but not chronologically.
Well, that's the thing. I agree that because some of us are still in contact with these guys, and they may have signed NDAs, they're not allowed to say certain things, but even if they were to just give us information like, well, this is what we were planning, the problem is they're not with the company anymore. So for all we know, those plans have changed. So they might do something totally different, or they might have the same plan all along of what they're going to do. I assume they're making it up as they go along, but at the same time, we know that, like, Against the Ogre Horde's been done for a long time. I mean, we're just now seeing it, but Jungles of Delthrak is probably finished already, so it's like they already have a plan. It's just that we don't necessarily know it yet. And if they wanted to change it later, it's harder unless they left themselves, gaps, or it just contradicts, I suppose. I mean, you could say, well, during this adventure, this is before Hulk Hogan won the belt, and then this other one is after he won it. So you just kind of situate yourself wherever you are in that time.
Like you said, the Carmen already planned many things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but he's
okay. He's not there anymore, but he left there at least his work. I hope.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least for the
But I mean, I
sketches.
assume it's not like he walked out the door with this huge thing that he's now gonna put online and show everybody, and so then we can go, oh, they changed it, oh,
Yep,
contradiction,
yep.
you know.
Yeah, but they in this case, maybe they already have like 10 different ideas of
Yeah, yeah,
stuff. Okay, already planned, already put on the map,
yeah,
literally and,
yeah.
and figuratively.
In this
Okay,
in this
but
version,
but okay, then they will
yeah,
decide which one is the best to produce. Okay, because it's
yeah,
going
it's
to
gonna sell the best.
interact with the story in a different way with the market, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything
I mean, maybe my opinion,
is important.
I'm kind of the odd person out because I'm of the opinion that I don't mind if they released a quest pack that does totally contradict the story. Not in the sense of like betraying it, but yeah, you could have one where, oh yeah, the wizard turned evil, so now you got to fight him, and he's not in the party. I mean, you're like, what? That's weird. But I mean, it could just be its own one-off, what if story, like in comic books where they say, well, what if Superman, was born in the USSR instead of the US? How would things have been different? But I suppose at this point, it sounds like they're still trying to appeal to the idea that yeah, there's a single storyline, even though individual circumstances are different, and one follows the next one. If people care about that, they can do it because you can always just make up your own. Like you can just erase the prologue and write something else. Like it says, oh, after you defeated the Witch Lord, well, you just delete that sentence if you haven't defeated him yet. you know, even though the Witch Lord's still at large, there's this other threat we got to deal with first. Like okay, I mean it's simple. Because yeah, there's a lot of people who just want to open the box and play. They don't want to worry about all this preparation. But then there's super fans like us who, yeah, we care about that, but we don't like something, we change it, or we're tired of the same old things,
Beauty,
we
the
change it.
beauty, how they engineer everything is exactly that. You can play in both ways
Hmm.
without caring or caring enough
Yeah, yeah.
to
But they,
do the research.
but they want to appeal to the broadest range possible. Because yeah, it's true that if you stray too far from what attracted people to Hero Quest, you're going to lose those people because not all of them are going to be willing to do that. They might just say, well, why should I buy your stupid expansion? I'll just make it up on my own. I've already got the tools to make a better adventure at home, and I don't care. But then they'll say, yeah, but we got these pretty miniatures. Well, okay, I guess I'll buy it. I'll still buy it. I'm going to rip up the story, but I'm still going to buy it. Verg says, let's put it this way, the map alludes that the series of events leading chronologically to Against the Ogre Horde being after Mage of the Mirror, Rise of the Dread Moon. But they were smart enough to not fill in the blanks, so any table can interpret it differently and however they want to. There's no detail, just an alluded map that's open to any interpretation the Zargon player wishes to use or not use. Well, very fair. And also, if you never bought the Wandering Monk, you wouldn't have the map. So you either wrote your own map or you just don't have a map. I mean, that's possible as well. Elviler says, I'm guessing the timeline is going to change to after Rise of the Dread Moon. Not sure, though. Avalon Bill was going to keep us up to date when the team figured out the placement. Unfortunately, circumstances have changed, and yet I don't have a source for this yet. Yeah. Yep. Well, guys, do we have more to say about Against the Ogre Horde and all the leaks? I've been showing those pictures on like a loop there. Are we ready to play some Mage of the Mirror? Or do we have any closing thoughts or any other things you wanted to say?
Last thoughts about the maps. Would be cool if they create a map generic without some with some specific details where they talk at least about the places we've been with all the quest we already complete. Okay, and leave blank all the other spaces. Okay, so they can feel it in future. But give us, yes, something like a live map online. They appear a new place because appear a new expansion in the place. But you leave anyway open to for the other people because they want to use this map to expand the game with their own brew.
So we don't think it's going to be a Pulse exclusive because they did say multiple retailers and markets. Oh yeah, and they're making Talisman, but it has nothing to do with HeroQuest. People were saying, "Oh, you made that up. That's your rumor." It's like, no, it's not. Okay, so is this the missing card? This wolf image right here? Is that?
Yeah, it's still blurred, but yeah, we don't know what it is.
Yeah, but
And,
I
and
guess
it's still missing, even if there are 15 the cards of the spells, it's still missing one card to the count. Okay, could be a reference card,
It's-
whatever,
it's the
but
dagger.
it's not showing
I hope-
nowhere.
I hope it's the
And
nothing,
the dagger.
nothing treasure card. I want it to be the nothing treasure card. Let's start a petition. Too late.
Would be nice.
Just for old time's sake. Yeah,
I would also add it's great to see them expanding our inventory of previously established enemies, like having goblins, orc archers, skeleton archers. I think it's great to see that kind of thing.
oh man,
And bring on more of it.
People wanted skeleton archers almost as much as they wanted rat people. I mean, there were no skeleton archers in the original, but now we got them. I kind of feel like we're going down the road of, okay, we're going to be like Warhammer, where every miniature has to have the exact gear that the character has. But I suppose we can't draw that conclusion just from a couple monsters like this. I mean, it's, as Amalgam Ash was saying, instantly when these monsters are put on the board, you're like, whoa, these are different. Rather than, oh yeah, it's an orc holding a club. Oh, it's an orc holding a sword. It's probably the same stats. Like, oh, we've got
You will be alerted of the danger instantly if you see
No. This guy's
the miniature with that ball.
just gonna run up
Instead
and
of a
slap
sword.
you with the bow. He doesn't have any actual arrows. Only more advanced orcs know how to use them. They're just, but yeah, like the that ogre right there. He's gonna do the finger poke of doom. So, Kevin Nash is gonna just joking. The Nothing Treasure card is the greatest of all time. That's right. Hey, Yibs P99. Yeah, we're still talking. So the thing is, people, Ribby, bless him, he was upset that we weren't going to do the rant cast, but, and I feel you, brother, thanks. But it's like, if we would have done that show, we would have had to turn around and do another one because they were dropping these photos on us, new little details. Oh, we forgot. What do you guys think of the wolf? Do you think it's going to be an ally, a separate hero, something to do with the arena? What's your speculation?
But it's to me is now I can see better the card. It looked like Snow Dasher. They made a very 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 similar. Could be a companion, and at the same time, if you're not using it, you can use it as a transformation for the druid.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
like
because it doesn't specify the transformation. It's shapeshift doesn't specify which animal you're going to transform to. So
it could be a giraffe, could be a hippopotamus.
whatever, you can be a giraffe, you can be a T-Rex,
the Wonder Twins. Hey, it's the Wonder Twin powers.
a bucket of water.
Yep. Yeah. The one guy is always the boy, he's always like some form of water, and the girl's always some animal. Yeah. For someone who streams a game on a web browser, I think it's advantageous for you to have Archer minis, so you don't have to keep telling which is which between camera views. Aha! That one hits close to home. Thanks, Ferg. Yeah, because any miniature can represent anything you want. But yeah, people forget, or they join in late. It's like, wait a minute, the guy with the bow, is he going to shoot somebody with that? Is that what's happening? Oh yeah, and the little plastic on the portcullis rises up. We think it's a separate piece because we saw a couple pictures where it looks like there's a gap. It's kind of a nice thing, kind of like the tomb having a removable part. Yeah.
Right. So does it look as if it lifts up but doesn't remove completely? Because I think if it was to be removed completely, it might look a bit odd. What's left behind?
Oh, like you just totally smashed the door, or it lifted up into the invisible ceiling above.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it fits in there, but yeah, can you just yank it out completely? Who knows? Because I assume it's that same hard plastic rubbery substance that we've seen before. Those door frames in Mage of the Mirror Rise of the Dread Moon are a different type of plastic. It's almost like a styrene, but I'm assuming that this is more of that rubbery plastic. Easier to manufacture, less breakage. Ribby says it probably removes completely. We'll find out. The great portcullis removal completely or partial removal debate of 2024. Yeah. Lost a lot of good men in that conflict. Just kidding. I'm just glad
Blood everywhere.
yeah, much ink was spilled. I'm glad they're sending it assembled instead of start a rumor. Otherwise, we could see warping. Well, gotta dip it in boiling water. Okay, guys. Well, if we're done talking about um, against the ogre horde, we can jump back
Yeah,
into the quest.
very last thought for
Well,
me.
I've got one other question
Yeah,
actually.
you go
See
first.
One in the chamber. Okay.
The image with the image of the tiles with where we can see the all-seeing eye tile, we can see the kind of carpeted room tile.
Yeah.
What's on the flip side of those? I mean, I'm trying to remember my original game, and
Good point.
I'm
They
not at
were on
home.
the
I'm
same
not at home
tile.
right now.
They were the other side is going to be the anti-chamber of the arena. It look like if you see there's an image where you can see the arena that is built with the two and there you go, this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the flip
Yeah.
side is a 4x4 is like the entrance
Yeah.
of the arena.
They moved the image purposely
Ah.
so they could have additional. Because I thought it would be so silly if they just put the same image on both sides, which they've done before. It's like, okay, they moved the image so that you could flip it over and have it be something totally different. But yeah, it could be another room, or it could be like the remake game system where you flip the stairs over and oh, it's just different looking stairs. Okay, just for style points. But yeah, you could put them both on the board at the same time, whereas before you just flip it over and it's a different room. Yeah, what's on the other side of that arena? What does it look like on the other side? We don't know yet.
They didn't show yet. Probably it's
Yeah.
black
Well,
or another arena.
yeah. I mean, for all we know, in a couple of hours, somebody will, hunker down underneath that glass case and take a picture, or somebody will be at the demo table and like see it and post it.
Somebody said they is on sale there in Cannes, the
Oh yeah.
the game.
Okay.
So some
You
people
can hear us.
can get
Do the fan unboxing. Spoil us rotten.
soon.
Soon. Yeah.
Yes. Now the last thing I want to add, it looked weird to me. They had 3 quests and they didn't add any a special item. The only thing it doesn't look like they had artifacts. That is really weird.
Well, you don't usually. Well, I was gonna say you don't usually find artifacts, and usually those are they've been solo quests, they've been gear up quests. But it's true that they did put the elven bracers in there because those were never found. So it's like, okay, fine, you find them right away. Yeah, what that's not to say they won't have artifacts. It's just that those artifacts won't have cards, so maybe they'll just be referring to items we've already found. I don't know.
Hmm.
Don't know. Endless tournament gameplay is your reward. Yeah, how is that tournament thing? Is this going to be a player versus player thing? Is this going to be like, I'm thinking of like the arena from the first edition. I know we've been down that road before. There's a lot we don't know. It'd be cool if it's 2 rooms on the other side.
Soon we're going to know. Very soon.
Yep. All right, so we got Bohemius, we got Glasgow Gargoyle. Jacer, are you gonna play some Mage of the Mirror with us, or does anybody else want to jump in? Because we've got room. Water's fine. Yeah, that is one of the other speculations, is that those potion and equipment and shield tiles are actually like drops that you pick up in the or rewards for winning the tournament or fighting in the arena. Elixir of Life, Ring of Fortitude, Ring of Return, many artifacts they can use. Yeah, especially those consumables. I mean, you can always use more of those. Doesn't mean they'll be easy to acquire. Okay, so what heroes have we got here today? The elf has the Sky Orb. Ah, see, we're still waiting for Jacer. Okay, 20 minutes, they'll be home. Cool. All right, well, guys, let's take a look at our character sheets. Thanks for the talk. I knew we had to get it out of our systems, or we were going to be too distracted anyway. Okay, so the elf should have. Let me get rid of the screen here. Yeah, I wasn't even fully set up when we started. I was like, oh man, gotta get going here. Trying to keep track of all this stuff at the same time as posting about the updates. I don't think those body points are accurate though. Just check this again here. Jacer says dwarf. Glasgow, are you going for the elf again?
Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah, this is the group formation of Rise of the Dread Moon.
Okay. That's what I need to fix. Yeah, the problem is I've been away a little bit, so I'm just not quite organized. So I guess you guys can keep talking amongst yourselves while we do this if you want.
Yeah, I must say that I had really hoped they would expand the alchemy deck further with this being the first expansion since Rise of the Dreadmoon, where they introduced it.
Yeah, my belief is that they're not going to expand the deck anymore because it requires for you to buy the entire expansion to have to have a card to add to the deck. I don't know. I'm not sure 100%. They could add the card with different art behind, but not sure 100% they're going to do it. Anyway, this one is a reprint of an old quest. Okay, expanded and everything. So maybe we're going to see that kind of element in something new, in some like Jungle of Deltrack, for example. Is something that is more completely new, nothing reprint.
Evil wizards take vacations too. Yeah, I want to see Uncle Zargon with. He's got the sunglasses. He's got the Hawaiian shirt. He's got the Bermuda shorts. Got surfer orcs. Yeah, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You got foot soldiers doing like everything. They still got their uniforms on, but they've got vacation gear on top. Blow me to Bermuda. Yeah, Jacer, the sensor is catching like every time. Not that. Not necessarily. They could add another group of alchemy cards. Another mod check. Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I like the alchemy deck. Okay.
I do too.
Because it's a very nice addition.
All it would take is one sentence saying, if you have the alchemy deck, you can go ahead and use it. Like, I mean, as if we needed permission, but yeah, they could do that. And then they could put it in the app that, it just happens to be there too. Without, confusing people that don't own that expansion.
Okay.
Yeah.
They could.
Yeah, maybe the culmination of the entire campaign is handing over the Ogre Grog to the the Ogre Lord.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Maybe in another edition of the game, they can add the alchemy deck directly on the core game.
'Cause you're bound to have
Yeah,
some
it would be
grog left
nice.
over. I mean, the grog it goes fast. It's such good stuff, but you know, you might have some left over. New reagents, different cards. I'd be fine if they just released a standalone deck and said, hey, you can put this wherever you want, because that's what they did with the heroes. It's like the knight, you can toss him anywhere. Well, I guess now he's in a quest book, but still. See what's going on with these body points. Oh, I think I know what's happening. Let's see here.
Yes, you reach it to make different cards. Would be nice, but at the same time, you can umbrew all these items, and your new regent would mean make the treasure deck difficult to manage. You're going to find all the regents. I don't know. I believe the Zargon should do like a deck building at the beginning of every quest and decide what to put in his deck of treasures. Okay, because if you put all together, do let's say a huge deck with all the cards coming from all the expansion, um, it's not balanced anymore.
It's like
The
playing
deck.
Talisman with all the expansions. You've just got this huge pile of stuff happening.
Yeah.
People do it, but it's
Yeah, but Talisman is different because anyway the events are
random.
very different from each other.
Well, I would quite happily buy a deck of 20 nothing cards for the treasure deck.
Still nothing.
Nothing.
Yep. And when people start complaining, you just hear this, if it were a video, you hear all these people complaining like a mob, and then it just pans over to Zargon, and he just does the shrug motion, and then it fades away. Like, nothing. Got nothing.
Yeah, would be nice a deck for is an element that I really like of the game and is not used enough, and they're the spell scroll in my opinion. So deck with spell scroll would be nice. Okay, they exist in Umbro. What I mean is something made by them. Let's say a way to randomize a loot that could be given us for anyone.
40, 60, or 100 card
Good.
cap on the treasure deck. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Polsky.
Yeah. Then it becomes a little absurd the deck of treasure. Okay, they add more wandering monsters, but every time the rule says that you should shuffle every time you find a one. You pick a card, right? So it become very difficult to find good loot if you keep putting stuff.
There's too many cards in the deck. You're never going to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you shuffle it thoroughly,
you're never going to get the good cards. Let's say it's going to be, for example, let's say they have 100 cards in the treasure deck, and there's the 300 gold. Is 300 gold? I don't remember the one of
250. Oh, the treasure hoard.
The gold. Yes, the gold hoard. You will never find that card because it's going to be too difficult. It's going to be very. You have one possibility on 100 instead of one on 60. It is a lot.
Yeah, it's
the difference.
The philosophy of playing it. So I checked